But let's just continue with our conversation and wind it up. So I have Philip Kise, remember. So just looking at all the plans that Mike Sonko seems to have for Nairobi, do you think that this is going to be the silver bullet in, you know, just curing the traffic snarl-ups we have? I understand that, you know, we lose up until 2 billion shillings with just the traffic alone.
I think probably in terms of loss, you're probably just looking at the monetary value. But what about the time that we lose? What about in terms of manpower, or man hours, and so on and so forth? So there's more. It could be more than 2 billion. But as to whether this will succeed or fail, again, it depends on whether he has the political will to do it. But I have suggestions on how he can proceed. Well, one, I think he can delay the implementation, because from people to move from the sub-terminuses, you know, the ones that he has created, they need to be some form of movement, either by cycling, so we need to have cycling lanes, or we need to have pedestrian walkways. So are they there? If they're there, are they sufficient? Are they adequate?
Safe.
They are, and then security. Is it safe to move from the sub-terminus to CBD? So there are certain things that need to be considered before this one is implemented. And then the other thing is, in fact, in terms of long term, we probably need to redefine CBD so that we push the boundaries beyond what we have and create those sub-terminuses way out of CBD. But then license, number one, have a public line, specifically a lane dedicated for public transport and emergency services. Dedicated. Number two, license maybe 3 or 4 companies to run services, you know, high-capacity vehicles from those sub-terminuses into CBD. So that is in terms of long term. But maybe if you want a quick fix, then you need to provide pedestrian walkways, cycling lanes, security, and what have you. But in terms of long term, you need to think through and introduce what people in Bogota introduced. That is having BRTs, you know, a bus rapid transport system. These are high-capacity vehicles that are licensed to operate on a particular line. So if you see a green vehicle, it is only licensed to operate on a particular line from a particular point. So then you reduce this chaos that we're currently seeing in Nairobi. But you know, if we do it half-heartedly, without thinking through, without looking at the plan, so I think if I were him, I'll implement this good thing that he has, but based on a plan that has been done, developed by professionals, by planners, by engineers, and of course, with the new constitution, you need then to consult the people affected.
Who are affected, and there are quite a number of people. Even looking at the touts, everybody who's within that industry, quite a number of jobs there on the line. All right, thank you very much, Philip Kise. He's the former Nairobi town clerk, just talking to us about this ban in the CBD of Matatus, and that's where we wrap up things here on News Center. We have been following quite a number of stories here on the show. Of course, the doctors continue to register their CBAs in court today. You've seen Omar Oluga there speaking after they did theirs here in Nairobi. Also, another top story we're focusing on really is that the clinical officers now have joined in the fray. They're starting their strike today. They also have quite a number of demands, just like the nurses who are on more than 100 days actually of the strike. All right, so that's where we wrap up things here. Thank you very much for watching News Center. My name is Betty Kello. We'll see you again tomorrow.